I'm so worried right now. How do I show my designs to my developers so they build the exact designs I have and follow the exact product specifications? In this video, you will learn how to hand off your designs to developers so they can implement your design perfectly. There are various techniques used by designers to hand off their designs to developers, but in this video, I'll show you the best technique I use to hand off my designs to developers. First off, what is design handoff? This is a process in product design where designers communicate details and resources of their designs after completion to the developers. These details and resources can be referred to as a single source of truth. A proper handoff will reduce the back and forth communication between developers and designers. It will ensure that the developer at the end of the development process implements the exact designs created by the designer. Sometimes a proper and consistent handoff can be tricky. I got to know about a powerful workspace to streamline the process of handing off designs to the development team called Zeplin. So what is Zeplin? This is a structured workspace that allows designers to create a single source of truth of their designs to developers and other team members in order to collaborate effectively and ship solid and amazing products. So basically with Zeplin, designer can publish their final designs and allow the development team to get all the necessary information needed to implement the exact designs according to the product specification. So let's jump into this amazing workspace and explore how to leverage it to hand off designs to our developers and other team members. So guys, to get started with Zeplin, go to zeplin.io, Zeplin spelled Zeplin.io. This is a website. I love this caption which says, deliver on the promise of design. Yeah, we want our designs to be exact same replica of the application after the developers are done designing the application. So quick look into the website, you see more details about them, what Zeplin is all about. And you can click here to get started. Interesting. I love the kind of cool effect that happens here. Get to see the color and tab face and the size of the button. Interesting. So go ahead and sign up for free. So once you sign up, you get this interface where you can sign in with your work email and password. You can choose to sign up with Figma. Very interesting. And you can also log in with Google. Once you log in, you get the workspace. This is the workspace. There's no project and there's no style guide. So my projects are empty and my style guides are also empty. I can't wait to jump into this and show you guys how to actually hand off your designs to developers using this wonderful workspace. So personally for me, I choose the desktop application. I like the desktop application, but notwithstanding, you can choose to use the web app. It also has a web app, which we just did there. You can see the web app. So you could choose to use the desktop application. So to do that, just go down to the links here. You see handle links on the website. Click on download for the Mac app or the Windows app, depending on the operating system you're using. For me, I'm going to download that for the Mac. This is the desktop app, how the desktop app looks like. So I have my project and I have my style guide. So the next thing, I'm going to show you guys how to actually create a project and start using Zeplin to hand off your designs to your developers. So guys, let's create a project and export our first file to Zeplin. So on my project workspace here, which is my personal workspace, I can simply click on create personal project. Then I will select whether I want a web or an iOS or Android project. So depending on what project you're working on. So I'll simply click on web and click create. So when the project is created, you can see the title of the project here. I'll simply change this to web application. That should be the title of this project. Depending on what you're trying to achieve, you can use the name of the project. Then the next thing here you could see, it says, let's get started by exporting designs. So I'm going to show you how to export your designs using your Figma. But meanwhile, you can see here that you have your Figma, Sketch, Adobe, and Photoshop. So you can easily just use any of these design tools. But for Figma, because we're focusing on Figma, we're going to be using Figma. So the first thing to do is to download the Zeplin plugin for Figma. So I'll go to my Figma file and go to the community. Under the plugins, I'll simply search on Zeplin. So when I get to Zeplin, I can click install. I'm not going to uninstall this because I've installed it before, but I guess yours should be showing install just like this. So once you install it, you go to your design file. So this is my design file, which I want to show you guys how to export a particular file to Zeplin. So if you look at this design file, I have my style guides that have color, typography, buttons, and a lot of them. So and it also has some web pages like login, sign up, and contact, dashboard, and the rest of that. So assuming I want to send this dashboard design file to Zeplin, what I'm going to do is just to right click and go to plugins and select Zeplin. So when I choose Zeplin, once Zeplin is loaded, it will tell me the number of frames I've selected and how many components are attached to that frame. So you can select multiple frames, and you can see it has 2 frames being selected. But I'm going to go with 1 frame. Once I select this particular frame, I can click on export. So it inspects the frame, and if there are any components, also check the images as well before it exports to Zeplin. So it will ask me which projects which I want to export this particular file to. So that is web application. So you can go ahead and make a commit. I'll discuss about the commit later on. So I can just make a initial commit. Let me just say initial commit. So we'll explain this later on. So when I click on export, it's going to export this to my Zeplin project. So if you look at right here, you see that it's uploading this frame to Zeplin. So when it's done uploading, you see your design here and the name of the design according to what you have named it on the frame. So let's talk about how to inspect screens in Zeplin. So what you can do is to double click on the particular screen. You can use the zoom tool here to either zoom in or zoom out of the screen. Then you can select a particular element. Let's select a text, and let's look at the inspect element tool by the right hand side here. We can see the positioning, and we can also see the typeface, and even the size of the typeface is really awesome, and the alignment, also the color of that typeface. You can go ahead to see the CSS equivalent of this particular design and also the HTML of that. So you can add more extensions. Maybe you're designing for Android, or you're designing for a different programming language. Let's say SAS, for example. So you can click on this setting icon here. It takes you to this platform where you can explore more extensions. So when you click on exploring more extensions, it brings out this page for you to really explore all the extensions you can use in Zeplin. It's really, really interesting. You can use HTML, CSS, Swift. So that's how you actually inspect elements on Zeplin. So guys, let's look at the toolbars on Zeplin. So if I click out on this canvas, instead of clicking on the screen, if I click out, I'm going to see the toolbars. First here is the information toolbar, where I get to see description and if there are any tags or components. Then the next one is the colors, where I get to see all the various colors that were used on this screen. And also we have the design, the assets, sorry, where we have the assets. You can see all the available assets on this design. So you can look at, you can download assets based on PNG, WebP, and SVG. So, and different resolution, 1x, 2x, 3x. So depending on what you want to use in designing, you can use that. And we also have the comment section. So the comment section or the notes section, where your teams can drop some comment, like it says right now, what a quiet team, because there's no comments. So I can go ahead and add a note and just select where I want to add a note. Maybe I want to add a note to this completed. This should be ended. And then post this, and it shows that okay, I've made a comment on this. So anybody who is part of your team can actually come here and click on it, and they get an info card that tells them what you're thinking about on that particular piece of design. So guys, let's talk about how to organize your project on Zeplin. Organizing projects makes it easier for both existing and new team members to easily find their way throughout the project. So I'm going to show you guys how to organize your project on Zeplin. So we're going to use section first for our organization. So to create a new section, just right click on the screen and say new section from screen. So I zoom in and want to organize my project using sections, and I want to say, okay, these are the dashboard screens, so that anybody that comes into this project can say, okay, these are the dashboard screens. I can create more sections. You can say the contact screen, where you see all the contact screen. I can also right click again and click new section. I can say, okay, the authentication. I can make this the authentication. So I can easily jump on Figma, and let me export some of those designs. I'm going to export this and this for the authentication. So I'll go to plugins and go to Zeplin and quickly do that and export. So when I click on export, I select the application and click export. So I should have those screen up. So I can drag the screen down to authentication. So it should be on authentication section, and the dashboard, I will take it to the dashboard section. I can export more screens like the contact. So I can select this contact and I'll click on export as well. So I'm going to export it. The essence of exporting this, the essence of creating sections is to help in the arrangement and organization of your project. So any designer or any developer can easily say, oh, I'm working on the dashboard section, so all I need to say is the dashboard section, and that is it. So for this contact, I'm going to drag this to the contact section and wait for the other one to upload as well. I'll drag it to the contact section. So I have the dashboard section and the contact section and the authentication section. You can as well sort these sections out. You can toggle to open and hide the content of the section. You can click on the more options to add a description, rename the section, and move it downward if you want to move that particular section downward. I might choose to move this one up as well and move it up as well again, move it up. So this section helps us to organize our files really nice and interesting. You can as well delete a particular section when you don't need that particular section. So that's the importance of using sections to actually organize our files. So guys, let me show you how to use tag to also organize your project on Zeplin. So assuming I have some screens, I want to say, okay, these screens are under development, or these screens are completed, or these particular screens are blocked, maybe they have some issues. I can use the tag to actually organize that, and anybody that jumps into the project can quickly go to screens that are blocked and know why those screens are blocked, or screens that are ready for testing, and then do the needful based on testing the screens to be sure that the developers actually did the right thing. So what I can do to create tags on Zeplin is just to right click and say add tag. So I want to start up with the development tag. I can click on create new development, and once I click on the development tag, you can see it brings out only the screen, showing that this screen is still under development. If I click on tagged tag, you're going to see all the rec screens that are not yet tagged. So if I want to tag another screen, maybe the screen is under testing, so I can right click and go to add tag. I can choose to use the development tag, or I can use the add a new tag, which is called the testing, and I click on the testing tab and I click done. So when I click on the testing tab, I get to see tabs that are under testing. When I click on the development tab, I get to see tags that are under development. Then if I click on the untagged, I get to see tags, screens that have not been tagged. So I can quickly just right click and add tags to all of this, testing randomly, and try this and say okay, put it on the development, and then try this very one and say okay, let me add a tag, and then let me put it under testing as well. So someone jumping into this project can say, okay, I want to see all the testing tabs, or I want to see all the development tabs, or I want to see tags that are blocked that needs fixed. And that's how you use tags to actually help you organize your project on Zeplin. So Zeplin gives us a wonderful feature where you can communicate various states of your screen to your developer. If you look at this Figma file here, you can see the contact page. This is the default state of this contact page, and the next state you can see here is the edit state, and the other state you can see is the loading state, and you can also see the error state. Assuming you want to communicate this to your developer, it's going to be tedious to do this or achieve this on Figma. So one way you can do this on Zeplin is to just go to Zeplin and make sure you upload the various screens, and then select all the various states and drag it into the default state here. So once you do that, you can see something like a stack of 4 showing there are 4 various screen states. So as for a developer, what the developer will do is simply double click on this to actually see the screen, and you can see the default screen here, and you can see the loading state, you can see the edit state, and you can see the error state. This is super interesting. This is super awesome, which will guide the developer on various states of the screen. Let me know in the comment section if you think Zeplin is an interesting workspace to hand over your designs to developer. This feature honestly is a wow for me because it's really, really awesome. So let me talk about how to share your files to your team members or anybody working on this project with you. So what you can do is go to the top here and click on share. So when you click on share, you can type in the mail of the team member and they get invited through mail, or you can copy the link if it is a web platform you want them to access or the app platform you want them to access as well. You can also share a particular screen by double clicking on the screen and click on the share also here. You can also invite them by mail or also copy the link. So that's how you share your project on Zeplin. So let's talk about how to communicate your style guides to your developers and other team members working on your project. So style guides helps you to actually tell the developers what kind of colors are you using, what kind of text are you using. If you look at this project file here, I have the style guide which covers both the colors, the typography, the buttons, avatars, text input, cards for menu, and the rest of that. These are the various style guides. So how do I communicate this to my developers and ensure that they use exactly what is here to build the application? So Zeplin gives us that opportunity. When I click on Zeplin, I can see this is my project. I can see the style guide tab. So what I can do is to create a personal style guide. So now if you look at this, it has 2 forms, which is the base style guide and the platform dependent style guide. So the base style guide work across various platform dependent. The base style guide can work for the web, the base style guide can work for the iOS, and the base style guide can work for the Android. So the base style guide, you can add your colors under the base style guide because you're actually going to use the same colors for your web application, same colors for your iOS, and same colors for your Android, set call to action colors, and the rest of them. But when it's web dependent, the size of the button might not be the same size in iOS, might not be the same design in iOS, might not be the same design in Android. So we're not going to create a base style guide in this tutorial because of the time. So what I'm going to do is just create the web style guide so you get to see how this really works. So when you create the web style guide, you can go ahead and give it a description, a title. So I can call this web application style guide. So you can go ahead and add a title and description. I don't want to talk about adding descriptions for this. So how do you export your style guide to your Zeplin style guide? What you can do, make sure that your style guide is a component. That's only when it understands that this is going for a style guide. So I've actually made the typography a component, if you can see here. So what I can do is to right click and use the Zeplin plugin, and if I select the Zeplin plugin, I'm going to see that you can see one highlighter, which is a component. Initially when we were uploading screens, it was showing frame, but now it's showing component. So when I click on export, it's going to take me to Zeplin. So it's trying to get the resources. So I select style guide and I can see the web application style guide which I created. So I can click on export to that particular style guide, and it exports. You can see them loading the components of that style guide which I exported. So if you check on the text style guide category, you can see the various text which has been exported to this. This will guide your developers on how to use typeface on your project. So let's try again and export another thing. I'm going to export this time around. I'm going to export the buttons. So I'll just select the button and make sure there is a component. So I'll right click and go to plugins and go to Zeplin, and it has 12 components. So I'll just export. So while I'm clicking on export, and it's going to take some time, patience. So I'll select the particular style guide and click on export, and it takes me to the project. So you can see on the components I have my buttons. So this will guide my developers on how to actually design these projects. So they have, for the accent buttons, how it's going to look when it's hovered. So you're going to see the color and maybe the CSS code for that. When it is disabled, it's going to be shown here. So this is a good way to communicate your style guides to your developers. So another thing here is if you go to the project and click on the project web application and click on one of the screens. So look at when I click on the button, it's showing me that this is not part of a component. So I need to link the style guides to this project. So I'll go back to style guide and click on the particular style guide, and under the about tag you can see link to project, and I can select the web project and link that to the web project. So let's check if that has been linked. If I go to the project and click on the web project and click on one of the screens and click on the box, you can see that now it is a component, and you can as well connect this to the code base. I would advise you to talk with the developers so you can see how to connect this and the importance of connecting this to your code base. That's basically about style guide. It's really interesting to know about this because it's going to guide the project and guide the developers on the kind of theming, colors, typography, buttons, and whatever to use in your design. Let me know if this is interesting. Also hit the like button if you really enjoyed this. So guys, one interesting feature in Zeplin is integrating with other collaborative tools like Slack, Jira, Microsoft Theme, Trello, and Storyboard. This will help boost the efficiency of communicating and collaborating or working as a team with Zeplin. That is really awesome. Another thing is that you can add more extensions on Zeplin. So when you click on this extension here, you can exploit extensions, and you get to say tons of extensions to use in your project. This is really interesting about Zeplin. Try out some of this extension. Just click add to Zeplin and you get the extension. You get to see the code equivalent of some of these extensions. So guys, let's talk about more collaborative tool. If I click on this screen, you can see the comment tool here. So when I click on the comment tool, I can say, okay, I'm not okay with the text description here. I can just say I'm not okay with the text description, and you can select some color tags to this. You can make this red, you can make it orange, depending on what your team understands. The red means might be critical, so you select that. Once you're done, you click on post. So once you click on the canvas here, you can go to the notes. You can see the notes here where hygienist is saying I'm not okay with the text description. So someone else can turn and give some emoji reactions to this. You can as well resolve once this is done, edit or delete. So this is a nice feature that helps us to collaborate very well, more efficiently in Zeplin. So let me show you guys the importance of commits or version control in Zeplin. Assuming this particular design, I am making some change to this design. So I'm just going to make something so obvious here that I'm making a change to this design. So what I can do now is to right click and go to the plugin and go to Zeplin. So Zeplin will actually detect that I've uploaded this. So it's not saying upload, it's now saying synchronize. So when I click on synchronize, I'm going to state that there is a change. So assuming there's something serious I've changed, I'm going to say, okay, added a rectangle. So I'll click done. So once I go to Zeplin and click on this particular page which I make this update, just click on this icon at the bottom here. Then you're going to see the various commits. So once the first time I uploaded it, this is the commit I have. The second time I've uploaded it, I make a change. So the developer gets to know that I've added a rectangle to this. An interesting feature which helps us to keep track of changes on our screen. So go ahead and try the commit section, the commit feature, and let me know what you think about it. So guys, let's talk about checking designs with overlay screen feature. This is a really interesting feature in Zeplin that helps you to overlay a kind of screen of your design over what the developer has implemented. So let me quickly show you that on Zeplin. Assuming I have my designer, my developer is done with the design of a web project and is opened on the browser. I can go to Zeplin and overlay this design to compare the design. So you can see, I can see through the overlay and be sure that the developer did exactly what I wanted the developer to achieve. So this is a really cool feature in Zeplin. And remember when I talked about things being on the testing stage as your design team is concerned. So if it's under the testing stage, whoever is in charge of this can overlay this on the designs to be sure that the developer actually met the exact designs of the designer. One major challenge for designers is communicating their final designs to their engineers. Sometimes designer might make some changes on the project file, but with Zeplin, designs are final. And if there are any changes to the design file, then there will be a commit history to guide the engineer on what has changed. Personally, it is a powerful workspace to designers to hand off their designs to the engineer. So go ahead and try out Zeplin and also let me know if this was useful to you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Bye bye, see you in the next video.